What if the characteristic that once rendered you vulnerable could transform into your most significant asset? What if your capacity for understanding others, what was once a source of sustenance for narcissists, may evolve into a formidable barrier that protects you from their influence? Carl Jung uncovered insights of such depth and significance that, upon grasping them, individuals ensnared by narcissists will not only find themselves liberated, but will also become imperceptible to those who once held sway over them, not due to your concealment, but rather because you have manifested such authenticity that there remains no substance for manipulation to cling to. Empaths possess a unique strength. They possess a certain level of discernment. They are not defective. They are formidable beings who have lost sight of their inherent power. As an individual with empathic tendencies, it is probable that you have devoted your existence to the act of giving without restraint. You have borne the weight of suffering that did not belong to you. You have acquiesced when your inner being was vehemently opposed. You have internalized the tumult of those around you and deemed it empathy. Perhaps, buried within, what Carl Jung disclosed is noteworthy. Your sensitivity is not the issue at hand. Your estrangement from your shadow is. One must recognize that the shadow does not embody malevolence. It is not an object of apprehension. It encompasses the aspects of your being that were never permitted to flourish. Your indignation, your strength, your expression, your revered limits. When you conceal those aspects to maintain your appeal, manipulators inevitably exploit the opportunity. The individual exhibiting narcissistic traits does not possess genuine affection for you. They fail to recognize your presence. They perceive a reflection, an origin, a reservoir. However, upon embarking on the journey to integrate your shadow and reclaiming those aspects of yourself that societal norms have conditioned you to suppress, a profound transformation occurs. The empathy that previously left you feeling depleted now transforms into a conscious, deliberate, and well-defined experience. The compassion that previously guided you into codependency now manifests with clarity and insight. The heart that previously fractured beneath the burden of others' anguish now remains resilient, grounded, and complete. Carl Jung articulated that until we bring the unconscious into the realm of consciousness, it will govern our lives, and we will attribute this influence to fate. This explains the continual allure you experienced. It was not a manifestation of frailty. It was an involuntary recurrence. Your inherent strength radiates towards those who would misuse it. The essence of a narcissist reveals a lack of true power. They are deeply estranged from their true essence. What may appear as confidence is frequently a manifestation of grandiosity. What seems to be control is fundamentally anchored in a sense of shame. Their allure, their magnetism, their desire to assert control is a protective shield, a facade crafted in the formative years to navigate a reality that instilled the notion that openness was perilous. Jung referred to this phenomenon as inflation. When an individual becomes so engrossed in their persona that they entirely disconnect from their authentic self. This is the point at which the empath and the narcissist reflect one another. Each sustains injuries. Both entities are lacking a connection. One expands, while the other fades away. However, as a narcissist constructs a barrier to protect their vulnerability, the empath endeavors to mend the wounds of others. In this process, they become wholly oblivious to their own existence. However, this marks a pivotal moment. Jung referred to it as enantiodoroia, the instant at which one entity transforms into its antithesis. For the empath, this moment is significant. Upon the recognition that you bear no obligation for the emotions of others, neither their joy, their recovery, nor their sense of void, one must take ownership of their own actions and decisions. It is at that juncture that your potential is initiated. Once you relinquish the burden of guilt that does not belong to you, the narcissist's power diminishes significantly. When you cease to recoil from disapproval, the power of manipulation diminishes significantly. When you cease to provide explanations, justifications, and excessive concessions, you effectively render yourself psychologically imperceptible to them. Your vulnerabilities remain elusive to them, as you have ceased to delegate your self-esteem to external sources. They are unable to evoke your sense of guilt, as you have transcended the conflation of kindness with self-betrayal. They are unable to overwhelm you with affection, manipulate you through guilt, or distort your reality, as you have ceased to pursue affirmation from shattered reflections. This is not a matter of adopting a frigid demeanor. It pertains to the process of attaining authenticity. Jung articulated, the objective of existence is the process of individuation, to realize your authentic self, not the person others desire you to become. It is not the identity shaped by trauma that defines you, but rather your wholly integrated self. Illumination and obscurity, resilience and gentleness, limits and compassion, all in a state of equilibrium. Upon attaining this state, one not only safeguards oneself, but also catalyzes a transformation within the surrounding environment. Empaths who have successfully integrated their shadow do not merely achieve immunity to narcissists. They transform into beacons, steadfast, radiant. They do not pursue love. Rather, they personify it. They do not endeavor to rescue all individuals. They uphold the profound duty of ensuring their own salvation. Jung posited that when anger is properly integrated, it serves to safeguard one's boundaries. The possession of such power renders one impervious to disruption. To assert that declining is not synonymous with rejection. It embodies clarity. It is a verity. As you progress in your journey, you may start to observe something peculiar. Narcissists may still make an appearance, yet they will not linger, as they no longer perceive you as a source of sustenance. You exhibit a remarkable level of composure. You possess resilience. One should not engage in emotional labor that detracts from the essence of existence. They will seek out the former iteration of your being, the individual who experienced remorse for their fatigue, the individual who expressed regret for declining, the individual who designated self-sacrifice as love. However, that iteration has vanished, harmoniously interconnected and progressively developed. This represents the enchantment that Jung alluded to, the concept of psychological sovereignty, the capacity to experience a wide array of emotions while remaining ungoverned by any single one, to embrace profound affection while ensuring you remain true to yourself henceforth, to embrace openness while maintaining a sense of security, gentle yet resilient, to traverse the world in your true essence, unguarded and complete. The empowered empath has transcended the fear of narcissists, as there is no longer anything within them to exploit. There is no fractured conviction to take advantage of. There exists no unaddressed injury to dominate. What was once perceived as a burden has now transformed into your guiding principle. What once shattered your spirit now fortifies your essence. What was once a magnet for disorder now draws tranquility. You have transformed into what Jung referred to as a wounded healer, an individual who has transformed suffering into insight, one who possesses empathy alongside lucidity, who comprehends the intricacies of emotion yet remains unburdened by its weight. This represents the transition from unrecognized distress to deliberate liberation, from empathetic involvement to genuine manifestation, transitioning from a state of vulnerability to one of invulnerability, not due to a cessation of emotion, but rather through the exercise of deliberate choice. Thus, if you have ever contemplated the reasons behind your profound emotions, the attempts of the world to overshadow your brilliance, or the manner in which individuals have extracted fragments of your essence without reciprocation, understand this. Your capacity for empathy does not signify a lack of strength. This is your inherent talent. It is your authority. This is your journey. However, this is contingent upon its reclamation. It is only when it is delineated. It is only when it is deliberate. This marks the commencement of your enlightenment. This constitutes your return. not to the person you once were, but to the essence of who you have always been. Upon achieving that transformation of self, the narcissist will not merely relinquish control. They will vanish completely, not due to the barriers you erected, but because you embraced authenticity. I appreciate your companionship on this journey. If an awakening occurred within you, if a profound realization emerged or a burden was alleviated, it is not mere coincidence. It serves as a profound indication, a communication from your innermost being, reminding you that you were never truly fractured, merely concealed. The world instructed you to diminish, to conform, to remain inconspicuous, yet your essence was destined to ascend. Therefore, ascend and take back the aspects of yourself that they instructed you to dread. Allow your empathy to shine with intensity, yet temper it with restraint. Maintain an openness of the heart, yet ensure it remains protected from vulnerability. One need not adopt a hardened demeanor to embody true strength. One need not cease to love in order to safeguard oneself. One must strive for completeness. If this message resonated with you on a profound level, consider sharing it. With each emergence of an empath, the collective shadow experiences a gradual healing process. Engage with the profound intricacies of the mind. Until we meet again, tread softly, embrace your emotions profoundly, and maintain your autonomy. Your illumination, when embraced in its entirety, is the singular force that darkness can never overcome.